Greetings, fellow book enthusiasts. Welcome back to Timeless Tales and Thoughts. I have a book to share with you today. It is book number 8 from my reading challenge. Isn't this adorable? I got this for my birthday. Now I can keep track of how many books I'm reading. I love it so much. Super cute. The book I'm going to share with you today, I'm going to admit when I first opened it, I was a little skeptical and I wasn't sure how I was going to like this book, but it actually turned out to be a great fit for what I do like to read. The book came to me as a Christmas present in the style of the surprise date night with a book. So the book was completely wrapped up. It was a mystery, surprise. Nobody knew what was inside the book. I've never actually read anything by this author before. So that was part of the reason I was a little skeptical. Plus, I have not heard of the book. I didn't know anything about it at all, even though it says on here it's seen on TikTok. So it must be a pretty popular book. And if it is, then I absolutely agree with them. It is a great story. I really enjoyed reading through it. The book is called The Things We Leave Unfinished by Rebecca Yaros. I was pleasantly surprised with this story. It kept me wanting to read constantly. I went through this book in about a week and a half. I didn't want to put it down. This was one of those I didn't want to put it down books. I loved how this book went back and forth. So we have a couple of stories going on. It is a romance story, a couple of traditional romances going on throughout the story between our modern couple, Noah and Georgia. And the other part of this story is that it bounces back and forth between modern day and World War II London. So the second love story is seeing Scarlett and Jameson, but it's also a story about family and the love between Georgia and her gran, the love story between the two sisters in World War II London, Scarlett and her sister Constance. So it was a really nice, well-blended story, and I truly enjoyed reading it. I could have done without the graphic love scenes, but I guess when you pick up a romance novel, sometimes you gotta, I guess they have to be there. But for my personal taste, it was a little too spicy for my personal taste. All right, so this fun story is told in alternating timelines. The Things We Leave Unfinished examines the risks we take for love, the scars too deep to heal, and the endings we can't bring ourselves to see coming. All right, the ending of this book, I'm not going to spoil it, but you wouldn't have seen it coming. It was incredibly, what? Okay. The pieces are there. As I went back and thought about the story, the foreshadowing is there for how the ending turned out. But I didn't pick up on it until it was kind of revealed at the end. It was like, oh yeah, if you go back, that kind of foreshadowed this to happen. Okay. So 28-year-old Georgia Stanton has to start over after she gave up almost everything in a brutal divorce. The New York house, the friends, and her pride. Now back home at her late great-grandmother's estate in Colorado, she finds herself face to face with Noah Harrison, the best-selling author of 1 million books where the cover is always people nearly kissing. He's just as arrogant in person as he interviews, and she'll be darned if the good-looking writer of love stories thinks he's the one to finish her grandmother's final novel, even if the publisher swears he's a perfect fit. Noah is at the pinnacle of his career with book and movie deals galore. There isn't much the golden boy of modern fiction hasn't accomplished. but he can't walk away from what might be the best book of the century, the one his idol, Scarlett Stanton, left unfinished. Coming up with a fitting ending for the legendary author is one thing, but dealing with her beautiful, stubborn, cynical great-granddaughter, Georgia, is quite another. But as they read Scarlett's words in both the manuscript and her box of letters, they start to realize why Scarlett never finished the book. It's based on her real-life romance with a World War II pilot, and the ending isn't a happy one. Georgia knows all too well that love never works out, and while the chemistry and connection between her and Noah is undeniable, she's as determined as ever to learn from her great-grandmother's mistakes, even if it means destroying Noah's career. The things we leave unfinished. I loved how this story seamlessly went back and forth. And in the modern world, too, it bounced back and forth between the perspective of Georgia and Noah. So each chapter, it kind of told you where you were. Chapter 1 is from Georgia's point of view. Chapter 2 was from Noah's point of view. Chapter 3 was the first time we jumped back in time, and it told you that you were in England, 1942. Did it start in 1942? Wait, I have to double check. Oh, I'm sorry, 1940. It'll tell you exactly where you are. And I loved that. Yes, July 1940 in Middle Wallop, England is where the history starts to take place. So we see how the love story of George's gran and her great-grandfather, because these are her great-grandparents, not her grandparents, how that love story came to be during the war, how they met, how they had their marriage, their relationship, that sweet love story right there, as well as the story between Noah and Georgia as they get to know each other, reading through the manuscripts and the letters that were left behind by Scarlett. It is very seamless. You're not left wondering, hey, wait, where am I? What am I doing? It lets you know where you're at, whose point of view you're looking at through this particular chapter. And I found myself loving this book so much, I didn't want to put it down. I hope that maybe you will go check out this book. If you've read it, what do you think? What were your thoughts on the book if you've read this one? Let me know in the comments if you liked it, if you enjoyed it. And I'm going to leave that right here for now, for today. And please take a moment, like the video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and happy reading.